You're listening to 103.5 FM with DJ Amar.
Yo, keep all the cuties in here, man.
This is it. Day one. The red letter edition. My brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters. Yeah, no bullshit at the pulpit with questions for the reverend, like why I gotta die ahead.
Going like now.
In a side. What's next to deny my progression to my soul through my spirit from my mind and my flesh? You be hard pressed to alter my perspective. It's reflective of my perception. All the lives and the tribes that's affected, dying quick, effects from environments neglected, disconnected, disrespected. This the same section we never invest in. Our own sales from our own shells, become owners on our own to get on with our own help. Yeah, creators of our own world, communicate, we accumulated our own wealth. Created in this image, so when I say it, I meant it. Do the science for yourself. My brothers and sisters, we ain't niggas and bitches. My brothers and sisters, we ain't niggas and bitches. Can you dig that though? And I put this on my mama, like Madonna, Mother Earth, Mother Africa. I'm honored to be a part of where it started, selling Starburn through the stars, stardust on my starship. My heartbeat is godly. I'm the light harnessed from the darkest part of darkness. Such a godsend. I'll teach my son to treat your daughter like a goddess. I teach my daughter to treat your son like a god king. I can never deny my fate. My melanated skin tells my story every day. Fortunately, my fortune awaits. Majority of the world, minority in the States. Yeah, we blossom from the concrete. The world copies what they see, then mocks my mystique. The possibilities impossible to see. The ways of Western man can match the prophets of the East. My brothers and sisters, we ain't niggas and bitches. My brothers and sisters, we ain't niggas and bitches. Young brother, young king, you're a genius. Young sister, young queen, supreme beings. See you supreme. All you have to do is believe it. All you gotta do is believe it. Young brother, young king, you're a genius. Young sister, young queen, supreme beings.
When I'm sitting in the chair right
Do is believe it.
Y'all niggas, and you gon' be niggas forever, just like us, niggas. You're not niggas.
They might listen to radio, they might turn on TV, they might listen to music. Old school news, rap.
I'm not. I would be.
And you can pick it up on radio waves, TV waves, whatever you want. You got to pick up this down, and you die.
Tell me this ain't rap. Yeah. This ain't rap. Just discussing the facts. True that. Check it. Look. This ain't rap. Just discussing the facts. Too many of us down where the fuck I'm at. Niggas so far gone that they can't come back. Got cut with buck 50s or bust from the gap. Just another body done on the map. Just another statistic. Just another stat. Just another color. Just another black. Just another brother under. Understand that? Nah, not really, but it seems I'm being forced. Growing up in the G, seen it from the front porch. He's being scorched, peeps reaching for the torch. Next day we being caught like a child needs support. Can I get away, midway airport? Days like this, wish I was in the Air Force. How dare beat the devil, can't dare be cold. Don't need to write it down, just share me those. This ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. Just discussing the facts. Too many of us stand where the fuck I'm at. This ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. Just discussing the facts. Look, check it. This ain't rap. Just get
Reality.
radical. For you, after you. BCAC attitude. Do what I wanna do after what I had to do. Cops telling me to freeze cause they ain't half as cool. Man, this is a weapon, you don't have to blast the tube. Shorties lack knowledge, they in bad schools. Ain't have a penny for they thoughts, had bad food. Saying no drugs as if it's from Baton Rouge. Yeah, I smoke good, stay out of bad moods. Hopefully the good does outweigh the bad news. Don't shoot the messenger, return the sender. God's been in you, sent you into my center. Listen to me, finna be a winner. Dictionary bars, just saying what I meant to. This ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. Just discussing the facts. Too many of us stand where the fuck I'm at. This ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. No, this ain't rap. Just discussing the facts. Too many of us stand where the fuck I'm at. Yeah. Same rap. Voice speaks. Opinion. It's VSOP. Yeah. Still facts though. Real black though.
You think you're listening to one thing. And then under a track so deep, especially if you have melanin, because they know it's very sensitive to vibrations of all kinds, they'll put in a counter melody or something that you don't want to hear. And while you're tuned to that you think you are hearing, because it's on a frequency with this what they call the subatomic brain, or they want to call again the inner brain, the mind brain, is appealing to it. Now that's really trickery and a hard expression you can. And the more relaxed you get with the one, the more you can now pick up the other one, which is now suddenly being broadcast.
This is a traffic jam.
And yo, my music is addictive to the user. I let the rush soothe them, they tune in, then I school them. They said, homie, this shit ain't real, it's just illusions used to fool men, women and child to confusion. Start running wild, changing views when niggas think they winning when they losing. Caught up in movements, moving foolish, letting life fool them, betting they life losing, trying to better their fights.
I like in
Chicks and dudes off tips with slick maneuvers, turn OGs to broke D's and hungry crooks. Stand sideways, my way, giving me funny looks. That's why I hide my money in books. They scared to learn, allergic to words, swerving towards murderous curves. In the dark, working the curve. I'ma still shine cause I'm the light and I'ma burn to my purpose to serve. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain a balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science. Knowledge is power and ignorance is
how you behave.
the main is to maintain a balance between your soul and the body and control is the science. Pussy on the brain, T-bone steaks, a pint of dog, light in the jaw, pushing cane on the paper, writing bars, lines that similar, scars that run deep. I've been involved in the race since the beginning, running these streets like Kenyans when it was dark with no heat. Used to spar with the stars before I nod to sleep. I hardly speak, it's hard for me, but all I see from the bars and the cars on this dark-end street, parts of me from the heart is hard and Mars was deep, starving for the part when we would start to eat. Since Marvin argued deep with an armory of harmony, charming my father's feet, calm them, alcoholic talking, constantly walking through the valley with his arms on me. I've been here since life in itself, good versus evil in the hood with my people, fight myself. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain a balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain a balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science. Quiet is kept, my words kept, miners and vets. Higher than pilots and jets. Behind the sirens and tech, shorties crying out west. It's been a war going on since Osiris and Set. Before man acquired the text, written in stone on walls. It's all laws and the signs of command of how society slept in the eyes of the best. The science of life and dying, look at the science of flesh. We lost while we floss the boss signing the checks. While we off buying the best, diamond shines on our necks. Wet with blinding effects, the kind that remind me of blinding baguettes. In a timepiece that a time lead, make time freeze, live and direct. In 60 seconds, time me. It's hardly a heartbeat, the thing that separates my mind and my flesh. Rewinding my steps to where I first started. Oh God, knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain a balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain a balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science.
I'm ready. I ain't fucking with them busters, I ain't fucking with them bluffing ass, nothing ass motherfuckers neither. So when you catch me at the show, this shit ain't just for show. So I gave my nigga Lou the Desert Eagle. Then it's right back on the grind. I hustle till I shine. I don't hear no fear, no evil. Make 40 off a dime, waiting some other time, but the people try to tell me it's illegal.
And my brothers keeper, hell nah. I dig ditches, put you bitches in a sleeper. When you see us, keep it moving like the meter. We off the meat. Meet me at the meeting to miss your beat while I'm riding off, smelling like Sunny D. Imperial like the pyramid. As I push the pen again, my experiences appearing Shakespearean. So pass us with no interference when I send them in. If you mention him, then you mention in the syndicate. The inventor of that vintage lit. You know who get the busiest? Sawbucks, double nickel, 55th. Look, I'm a businessman. I can't let these busy.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you, wonderful people. Welcome to this Friday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from inside the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. Each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we get together right here with you all, and we discuss issues that are currently impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, but also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank you all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly request that you please take a quick second to share the broadcast, share it on your personal page, share it even within your personal network with absolutely anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, for it is our sincerest belief that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of this conversation, the better the opportunities we have of reaching those aforementioned solutions. So please, if you would be so kind, take a quick second to share the broadcast. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family?
Blessed and highly favored. You hear me?
Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored. As we shall.
The mic's been on.
Huh?
The mic's been on before we came on air.
Well, listen.
Hey, it is what it is at this point, right?
Head ass.
Whatever. If you heard something, I said something.
I said it.
I said what I said.
Mine cried 2 tears in the bucket.
So anyway, I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really, really good, man. And it's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be alongside with you. Absolute honor and a pleasure to be working with my brother, Lil Ryan, man. Ryan, how you feeling in there, bro?
I'm great.
Ron a little hyper because I was getting his ass before the show aired.
Yeah, you and Ryan get into that big brother, little brother shit, and it get funny at the point.
Excited.
It get funny at the point where Ryan, he brother get that. 10 no more. 12 now. It's like 13 and a half. Thank you. And when they voice like 7. It's like I don't pay y'all no attention because y'all do it often enough. So I start hearing this high pitch. I'm like, what are y'all arguing about? You like, we ain't arguing. This nigga just yelling for no reason. But anyway, always an absolute honor and a pleasure as it is to follow up the bigs, man, on the soil. Another dope episode of On the Soil. If you didn't check it out, make sure you do. They recapped the game 3, of the Western Conference Finals that took place last night. The Clippers went home victorious. CP3 made his first appearance in the Western Conference Finals, although it was not enough to help the favored Phoenix Suns overcome the Clippers at home. The Clippers got big games from the likes of Patrick Beverley, among others, to win in another close game. I think Devin Booker and Chris Paul combined for 10 of 40 from the field. That's just not going to get it done. I don't expect that'll happen to them again. I expect that, Devin Booker will adjust to the face mask and the broken nose situation, and he'll come back and play better. I do think that the Clippers will find a way to get back to Phoenix 2-2. I think the Clippers like to play that way. Hey, are the bigs still here? See if one of them still here. I think that the Clippers like to. I think that prefer they don't start years until they down like 2-0.
That's a sign of a loser, though.
He just left.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's a sign of what?
Of a loser.
Yeah.
You can't move like that. But essentially, though, right, I know it's at the sports show, but at the end of the day, when you start thinking about just how sports in general has shifted.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there's very many winning mentalities in sports in general.
Nah, it's a different thing.
It's not a mental thing no more. It's more of a talent thing no more. Whose talent outpaces whose talent on this day?
Yeah, they on the story they've been calling it what do they call it? Squadding up, linking up. What they been calling it? Ron? What they been calling about these players hopping on each other teams? They've been calling it squadding up, linking up.
Teams.
Huh?
Yeah, creating super teams.
No, I'm talking about on the soil, but never mind. Yeah, pretty much. That's what they doing. They clicking up is what they've been calling it.
Clicking up.
They all just clicking up, and it ain't the way I grew up. It ain't the way I grew up watching sports and admiring certain athletes. I am the likes of a Reggie Miller, a Patrick Ewing, who, despite their inability to overcome the best team in their conference, that being the Bulls at the time, they didn't go bounce and say, all right, well, we all got to go play together, right? Let Reggie Miller go play with Patrick Ewing, and let's bring Charles Barkley out here, and then maybe we can figure out this Jordan problem, right? That's just not how I grew up. I like the Barry Sanders of the world, who played on 9 awful Detroit Lions teams, but is still arguably the best running back of all time. Like, absolutely. And I'm from that upbringing, and that's just kind of how I prefer athletes to be. But it is what it is. We saw another athlete who kind of grew up in those types of things, man. When you talk about playing high school sports in Chicago at a certain time period, it wasn't we all finna transfer and go here, and there so we can be the best teams. Like, nah, we all from here. We all went to this school, and we gonna play here. We gonna stay here. And we gonna either be able to overcome the Weston Houses, Simeons, Whitney Youngs of the world, or we ain't. We gonna die trying, right? And Pat Beverley is from that elk. He went to Marshall, played in the Red West against those Whitney Youngs, against those Weston House teams, and Pat Beverley was like, man. Because, he's not a scorer in the NBA, but at the high school level, he gave niggas 40 a night. You know what I'm saying?
Full out dog.
And so, I kind of appreciate that. And you see Pat Bev's West. I mentioned this on the soil in the comments today, that you see Pat Bev's West Side come out of him on a regular basis on the NBA court. That West Side should just come out of him in the most random. He snatched up 2 of his own teammates at the free throw line, and they like, hey, I don't know what he told him to do, but he didn't just go like, he was like, both of y'all snatched they like they wasn't grown ass men. Like, hey, you could have just said that, bro. You bugging right now. But he's so aggressive. He's over his West Side. His 290 come out all the time. But shout out to Pat Bev, man. He played well last night. They're gonna need him to play well again if they have a chance of evening up this series before they get back to Phoenix.
I don't think they're gonna beat Phoenix though.
Yeah, they aren't the better. They are not the better team without Kawhi, and Kawhi ain't coming back.
Yeah, truth be told, and I don't think Milwaukee's gonna beat Atlanta.
No, I don't think they have the testicular fortitude.
And they actually are the better team.
Trae Young is the smallest person on the court, but he has the biggest nuts out there.
And that matters.
Giannis should be that guy.
There's a message in that.
Yeah. Giannis should be that guy, but it's really Trae Young. Trae Young, he thinks he's 7'12", okay? 4'15".
Can you beat my ass though?
That's how Trae Young carries it. That's how he plays the game.
Change the energy.
And the Bigs was pointing out the Milwaukee Bucks and their coach Budenholzer's inability to make in-game adjustments throughout these postseason. They've been making that point, but specifically against Trae Young, they haven't shown an ability to adjust to how they play the pick and roll. And so they either letting him step back and hit threes, or even worse, they're letting him drive all the way to the lane, penetrate, and either dish or hit this fucking running floater that's automatic for a player like Trae Young. He was 50% from the field in game one. Getty has like 44 or something like that. Ridiculous. So 48 something. Anyway, I'm with you on that. I think the Milwaukee Bucks really truly do have their hands full. They lost game one at home. We'll see how they're able to rebound in game two this here evening. Can't say Beverly gonna fight you, your mama, everybody. Yeah, he's West Side. He's
do what you gotta do.
He is West Side to the motherfucking core. I remember the last time I saw Pat, and it's been a few years since I seen Pat, but the last time I saw him was at fucking White Palace Grill on Roosevelt at like 4 in the morning, because at what other time do you go to White Palace?
That's usually how it happens.
There's no other time to go to White Palace. It's got to be 4 a.m. We in there, 4 a.m., sitting there eating, and Pat pull up, right? Pat pull up in like a drop top Rolls or some shit, right? And he pull up a couple other West Side niggas, right? And he walk in that motherfucker, and there's no seats, right? Ain't nowhere to fucking sit. So Pat is in full West Side mode, and all of their asses is lit, okay? And so he like, man, we need somewhere to sit, right? So the hostess, whatever, she's like, well, give me a minute. We'll try to. No, I ain't got no motherfucking minute. I'm finna sit down. There's nowhere to sit, G, right? So this is what Pat on. Pat's walking up and down fucking White Palace Grill with a wad of cash. I pay your bill, you get up right now.
Get up right now.
I pay your bill, you get up right now. I pay your bill, you get up right now. I'm just watching this, and I'm just watching this, and I'm busting up. And people I'm at the table with don't really know Pat, and so they like, what the fuck, right? And so I'm just watching. And finally he makes his way to where he gets to my table, and he's like, I pay y'all bill right now. I'm like, Pat, I pay y'all bill. Pat, he look. Oh shit! What up, bro? Look, y'all about done, bro. I swear to God, I got answer. I was like, Pat, I just sat the fuck down. You don't even see fucking food on my table. Calm your ass down, bro. You fucking bugging right now, right? He like, man, I'm hungry as shit. We've been at such and such club. Yada 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 yada. What's good, bro? And he switches conversations without any transition at all, from one thing to the next. And it's like, Pat, fucking relax, bro. Like, calm the fuck down. You're scaring the white folks, okay? You're scaring the white folks right now, Pat. Calm down. You already pulled up in a fucking Rose, and now y'all in here, West Side, smelling like every pack of weed ever, and y'all lit as fuck. Like, relax, bro. Fucking relax. But I fuck with Pat, man. Shout out to him. Either way, man, we got a lot of things we want to get into today. We wanted to do that stud conversation. I didn't hear from Kenny Steele. Did you hear from Kenny Steele? I ain't hear from Kenny Steele either on his stud thing. My favorite, my partner, she don't get off until 3. So she couldn't do the thing. So we'll have to plan that maybe like a week out to really, plan that thing properly. to get the proper people strapped up and in the studio.
Strapped into the studio.
Strapped up and in the studio. Hey,
Double entendre.
Did you see the meme that I posted in the fucking Is Wiz Black Love group?
I did. I saw it.
Hey, I promise you, I laughed for like 37 minutes straight, dog. That shit had me dying laughing. Like, it was so appropriate for the conversation that we had on Wednesday. For a minute, I was like, maybe I probably shouldn't put this in the group page. But I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, I saw it.
That shit was fucking hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. If y'all want to see it, y'all gotta join the I Said What I Said Black Love group page, right? So it's on the I Said What I Said page, and then there's a group attached to that page that a lot of us are in. Y'all want to see that meme? Y'all gotta hop in there. A lot of good questions. Did you pose those questions on there on that page?
Yeah. Hold up though, real quick before we move forward. Ron, hook me up to the Rogue, bro. Also, Sadiq just texted me. He said he got 10 extra tickets to the vegan barbecue Sunday.
Yeah.
So if you all are interested in getting
Cash
tickets,
App Herb Howard. No, I'm playing. That's
if you all are interested in getting tickets to Sadiq's vegan barbecue, you can get 10 more while he still has them. It's called the Grill and Chill with Plant-Based African. And I'm assuming the way you get tickets is, I'm trying to find that out now. Oh, Cash App.
Cash App or Zelle is what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's Cash App, the Plant-Based African.
African with a K.
Yep.
The plant-based as it sounds, and then African with a K, the plant-based African on Cash App. Same as on Zelle, right?
No, on Zelle is I Choose Health at iCloud.com if you're interested. Those tickets are $25 a piece, and it was like a limited number, so he's added space for 10 more people, so if you get an opportunity, again, Cash App. And Sadiq's in the comments too, man. Put the information up so we can pin it, Sadiq. Yeah, but if you're interested, you can still touch down by Sunday. On another note, G.
What up, though?
While Ron is trying to get me connected to the road,
It's searching.
I was involved in 2 conversations, specifically since his relationship Friday.
Yes, sir.
This morning, quickly on Facebook before I actually had to go do some work. So one, Tequila posted an image, and I told Tequila we got to get her on the
Sister
show.
Tequila, man. I got nothing but love for her. I ain't seen her in a minute, too.
And she posted this picture.
Actually, that's not true. I saw her at Sophia like a month ago.
So she posted this picture that I assume she got from TikTok, and it wasn't like a link to the TikTok. It was just a picture, and there was some words on it, and it's a picture of a dude wiping his tears. And it said, found out my son was really my uncle. My granddad.
Wait, pause. We're not going to skirt past that. There's a lot you can find out, right, later on in life.
Okay.
How do you find out that your son is your uncle?
You finna find out right now.
Okay, come on.
He says, found out my son was really my uncle. My granddad was fucking my girl whole time she was staying with him.
Oh, this is the dude talking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I've actually heard before. I was like, okay, things happen. Yeah, go ahead.
So you heard the story?
Yes.
So I didn't hear the story, but
come on with it though.
But
His granddad?
Yeah, his granddad. That's what he said.
Granddad probably 40.
Granddad.
Dude's probably 20,
while
22.
He was staying with, while the girl was staying with granddad, right? So yeah, you know, it's TikTok. It is what it is. So what Tequila's comment was is this is a classic case of hypergamy and hypersexuality at work. It's the natural song and dance between any male and female species. A man must be able to provide for and protect his own. If you're in another man's crib with your woman,
point blank period,
he is the alpha. If she's throwing, he going. I don't care who he is to you. How y'all feel about that?
I think it's an unfortunate truth.
You think it's an unfortunate truth?
That's what I believe. The Derek Chauvin sentencing is going to come down at some point during our Say What I Said. When it does, we will talk about that for sure.
Ron, what you think?
Matter of fact, hold on.
Man, I don't want to sound I don't want to sound bogus, but there's kind of some truth to that.
It just kind of is what it is. So I'm gonna read some of the comments, right? Kenyatta Scott just put a meme up. She was like, "And I oop," which is a lady kind of like, "Yeah, girl," it's that kind of energy. Like, it's cool. Nicole,
it's not cool, but it is true.
Nicole Cook says, "Perfectly said." Kiana Thompson, all women, keep paying attention, y'all. That's for sure. Nikki Rule, if she throwing, he going. Right? So they going with this. Where's the lie, sis? All facts. This is women, all women. Right? And then Richard Muhammad comes in. Okay? Now you got to have context of who Richard Muhammad is. Okay? Richard Muhammad is probably the editor-in-chief of the Final Call. Okay? Been at the Final Call for forever. Probably since the Final Call. Also, well-spoken, good brother. You know what I mean? So Richard Muhammad comes in and says, I agree. A man should have his own. But a grandfather should be teaching, training, and elevating and leaving the grandson something to build on. There's no excuse for the nigga-ish. It destroys families, perpetuates misery, fosters hatred and distrust.
That ain't nigga shit.
I think it's nigga shit. But let me finish this comment, though. When the next granddad sleeps with his granddaughter because he is the head of the household, this is the Negro, the Frankenstein monster created by the white man, as created by the white man. We better fly to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to get healing from this madness. Baba is a title which you carry with great honor and dignity as a bedrock for a family, especially my sons. My role is not to betray them for a piece of female flesh. That's an abomination and a disgrace. It doesn't represent black manhood. It represents the highest form of self-hatred and self-destruction. It is to be thoroughly and completely condemned. May he who commits such die. May he who commits such die, old, broken and alone, suffering from hellfire of regret, unless he commits atonement, and Allah provides merciful healing to those who these heinous actions have devastated. If I cannot trust my Baba and my Papa, my granddad, who can I trust? Nah, the nigga is worse than a piece of excrement on the ground, and may he reap the full deserved consequences for his evil, and another day, another act by self-hating slave.
It's a lot of words. It sounds wonderful. It doesn't change the facts. Right? It's a wonderful take. It's well written. It's a lot of fucking words, and it makes sense. And ideally, the world should be that way.
So they go back and forth, him and Tequila. And then I only respond once, and I kind of shake the spot. And I say, I think you both have valid points. But I think one is rooted in the what is, and one is rooted in the what should be.
Mm-hmm.
What I see oftentimes is we try to make sense in some cases, even justify. But that justification is us not understanding our own traumas. It's no sign of sanity to fully assimilate into an insane society.
Also true.
Right?
But what Tequila said was absolutely true. She said what is likely to occur.
Now my fam
in current construct.
Fam.
Now what should happen? That ain't got shit to do with the price of tea in China. Okay? George Floyd should be alive. Right? Tamir Rice should be here. But while we're trying to get to where we ought to be, you got to fucking deal with where we are. And where we are, not only in black society, that's why I say that's not nigga shit. You see that shit in the white community. You see that shit in the fucking safari. Let a lion drop his chick off in his granddaddy crib. She's nailed. Period. And like that's, call it what you want. You know what I mean? We can be as moral and righteous and emotional about it as we want to be. That changes nothing about what's actually going to take place. Now, as a grandfather, do I think that you should be hitting your grandson's lady? Fuck no. Right? Am I advocating for that? Fuck no. But I am able to say that I don't advocate for this while also saying it's a likely outcome.
I understand it. Not that it shouldn't happen, but I understand.
It's a likely outcome.
It shouldn't be happening, but we understand it.
Yes, I disagree.
You disagree that it's a likely outcome because it happened? Because all I'm saying again is that it's a likely outcome. Let me be unequivocally clear here. I do not condone it. I am not advocating for it. I think it's wrong. That changes nothing about how I feel about the likelihood of it happening.
I think nuance is important, right? I think nuance is important. And that's why I read everybody's comments, right? Before Brother Muhammad commented, it was all female comments. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, slay sis, go sis, which is not just a saying, I understand it. It's more of I condone it. I condone it. It's I support it. He's the alpha male. He has the funding. That makes him the alpha in the context of this conversation.
Yeah, no, I think it's trash to condone or support.
Time out. Now I'm going to read. This is all today because I was only on Facebook for 30 minutes and this is what I ran into on Relationship Friday. Great. Next post from the good brother D. Stevens. D. Stevens is one of the guys in the shot who was one of the remember the killer dude, the old dude who killed the dude. Remember his two best friends? You remember the old wino who started the movie Killing the Light Skinned Boy?
I didn't watch the show.
Well, either way, his two best friends, it was a tall, dark-skinned brother and a light-skinned brother. D. Stevens is the tall, dark-skinned brother, right? He has a comment. He says, women respect resources. So respect from the make sure your resources are in check, a.k.a. be financially stable, fam. Go back to the comments. Women like, woo, ha, yeah, salute, right? I ain't mad at it. So I respond. I say, I just got a question. Raise your hand emoji, right? It says, is it resource or capital that they respect? Because they aren't the same. And I guess he got this from Kevin Samuels, right? And I said, Kevin Samuels, I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Samuels, but I tend to think what he really is exposing is there's a large community of women who really are prostitutes and a large community of men who really are tricks, right? Now, his favorite else in his comment thread, right? Tequila, D, they're different kind of people, right? So the people who listen to D and the people who kind of communicate with Tequila, different. So you might have a respectable conversation in Tequila's comments. People who's in D's comments, I ain't responding to either one. My point about of it, you know what I mean? Because it don't make no sense for me to deal with it. But in retrospect, these are the same two conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Same exact two conversations. Granddaddy nailing grandson, dog, or baby mama. Because I'm the big dog. I got the big check. Right? Every woman in D's joint, I can't respect you if you don't have resource. Here's the fallacy, though. You don't really respect resource. You respect capital because resource is a very different statement.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Resource could be intellect. Resource could be relationship. Resource could be a whole plethora of things.
Resource could be materialism that ain't paid for, too. You can go get some food from a food cabin, and that's a resource.
It's a resource. You don't respect resource. You respect capital.
We can be living off this link card, baby.
I eat you for sale. So even when I'm for sale, I can justify Granddaddy busting me down. And Granddaddy can justify me busting me down because he's a piece of shit too, because he's a trick. I.e., the whole context of the social norm that we're operating in.
Exactly.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Exactly.
I'm going to say it's wrong. I'm saying it's wrong.
I agree that it's wrong. I agree with you there. We're on the same page there.
Wrong. But part of the problem is we can't have the dialogue beyond what is for what should be. And that's our level of comprehension. Like when we talking to shorties about taking the fucking guns out their pockets. Mm-hmm. And they be like, nigga, this is what it is.
Right.
This shit ain't gonna never stop.
And I always say that
you go no different.
If you're gonna be successful at reaching them on that level, you must present the what could be.
But don't you guys, y'all do present the what should be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You must present the what could be in a tangible way that they can actually see themselves getting to. And as a society, as a whole, right? Granddaddy and granddaughter-in-law or step-granddaughter, how the fuck that shit, granddaughter-in-law, I mean step-granddaughter, right? None of that like, in America, everything's for sale. Everything. And motherfuckers are selling themselves on the daily. It just is what it is. And again, I'm not condoning it. I'm with you screaming from the mountaintop that is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But everything about the current construct is wrong, which is what we talk about damn near every day. But until that construct changes, I am not naive about what's going to take place within said construct.
People make up the construct, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
The construct don't make up the people.
I'm not sure. At some point, people lay out a construct. Some people, usually a few people, in fact, lay out a construct, a social norm, accepted form of behavior. And then once that construct has been put in place and reinforced over years and years and years and years, then in my opinion, it starts to flip. And then the construct starts to create the people. And I think that we are at that point and beyond at this point to where the construct is not exactly.
How do you get beyond the tail wagging the dog? That becomes the question, right? That is the core or the anchoring of the question that we have in here every Friday.
You must cut the tail off. Then the dog won't run back there and chase. There's nothing to chase, right? In this construct, capitalism is the tail. And most Americans are the fucking dog chasing that thing with which they will never actually catch. The dog ain't never gonna catch his motherfucking tail. Right? But he's gonna keep fucking chasing it and keep fucking chasing it, keep fucking chasing it, just like most Americans do with capitalism. You never gonna catch whatever it is you fucking seeking. Not the way we going about it.
Hey, Jacob Israel, man, I don't even remember anybody quoting a movie, bro. But if you got something you want to get off your chest, be more direct. I can't understand it. But at the end of the day, though, man, I think that becomes the constant struggle, right? So we had this conversation oftentimes, all the time for me on Fridays, about how transactional we are, right? And I guess at some levels, all transactions are a negative, right? But we don't even understand the context of what resource is. Is not character a resource? You know what I mean? Can you not value? And this is not directed at women nor men.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's that just how we move out here in the space. And even I'm going to go back to the D. Stevens kind of thing, right? Because that's a different level of conversation happening in them comments. And the dudes was like, yeah, I'm with it, so she best be fucking on this date, or she better have an ass and a fat waistline, or she must, it's this theme.
Right.
It's this theme of very surface level relating. You know what I mean? And all it ever breeds is surface level relationships, right? And whatever you spawn out of that becomes a very surface level relating thing too. So your kids, the relationship with the kids, that might be spawned out as, I don't give a fuck. And that's the daddy's perspective from the mom too. I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
But you know what I've got a lot from the females in my generation? Those other resources, they don't need you to get besides
bullshit. I live in my community. I know they're undereducated. I know they don't have character, which is why we're having this conversation. Because if they was operating in the space of character, we wouldn't have this conversation. Because a grandfather with character would not fuck his grandson's old girl. And any woman who saw that wouldn't justify, but like, get him, girl, there's a lack of character. You can't tell me they don't need that resource.
Sure.
You can't tell me that.
Or the girlfriend.
They don't think they need that.
Which is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We've connected to our trauma as our reality. We've attached ourselves to our insanity as a valuable space to be in.
Everybody is out of fucking pocket, G. Like, that's what I'm saying, G. Everybody is so fucking out of pocket that figuring out what's within the lines of acceptability and what's outside of those lines is hard to do, right? Like, not in terms of just sitting here and asking a moral question, is this morally right or wrong? It's wrong, 100%. But when you add in the construct that we're all existing within, it becomes plausible, if not acceptable. I see it, right? I see it happening in every aspect of our society. We're talking about a grandfather hitting his grandson's his grandson's girlfriend, right? But we see it play out in corporate America. We see it play out in the fucking school. Like, it's every fucking where. We're just changing the variables.
Don't disagree, but all of those are different. And I say it in this context, right? I remember me and you was having a conversation. I was like, I hate when people say they're brands, right? And I think that is the crux of where this shit starts and ends. Like, you've detached yourself from humanity to see yourself as an entity for profit.
Yeah.
Think about that shit. You've degraded the value of humanity, your human existence, for your ability to churn profit in any capacity possible.
Yeah.
Right? Then you are worthless. Then you are. Then there is no reason to go yelling at the boys on 63rd to put the guns down. Because that's the value of your life. Whatever the fuck, whoever defines your value. That's because humanity has no value past profiteering.
Period.
If you've accepted that.
Period.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the reason I think it's interesting to hear it from D's page and to hear it from Tequila's page is because those people represent very different segments of our community.
Sure, but but
No, ain't no but, because
they're operating within the same construct.
No,
though.
fuck that. I'm not accepting.
I get you on the perception, G.
I'm not accepting that.
I get you on the perception of the perception of what tequila is and who tequila is, and the perception of who D is and what D. Like I get what you're saying, G.
But you think if they put in that position, they go fold?
Yeah, what I'm telling you is that the motherfucker sitting in the Oval Office and the motherfucker sitting at the head of the chief meeting on the fucking low end or in fucking K-Town, same fucking system.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Right?
Therefore, the conversation is going to be the same.
Is the head of the church and the head of the office the same person? Or should they be?
That's a different question.
No.
We're talking. It's the paramount question.
I know, but that's how we started this thing, Jay. What should be
should the
and what
grandfather
is
be operating on the same parallel or the same plateau as
his grandson's girlfriend?
The grandson. I'm saying the grandson because it's obvious the grandson is lacking some resource if his old lady is living in the grandfather's house.
As is she.
If I am the grandfather and I have a responsibility to the gene pool to raise them in a certain kind of capacity.
Sure.
Why is it acceptable for me to lower myself in the context of my own family?
It's plausible. I don't think it's acceptable. Let's take a quick break. When we come back from break, Juliet Scott will be joining us here. And we got some new t-shirts for y'all, man. They are in, and we can't wait to show them to y'all as well. This is I Said What I Said, Herb and 2 for another hour. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. IIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Reach the ruler. This is Week Ho Wednesday, and to my right is Everybody's Women Crush Wednesday. My co-host, the one and only Toy, Big O's. Love this show, y'all. I'm dealing with a guy. We have been dating for 9 months. In light of everything going on in the world, he has been voicing his opinion about situations, and I don't agree with any of his views. I love everything else except his opinions. Damn. How do I fix this? FYI, he's white.
It's about to be a white boy summer.
So could that be the issue?
For sure. Just come out different when it's not coming from your own race. It's just never been something I'd be like, oh, I date Bill.
I'm just a Bill. Yes, I'm only a Bill.
I don't really like light-skinned guys. I don't like pink meat.
Pink, so like it's like you see it.
Pink tip, it be pink.
And then pink on the
I
tip.
don't like.
So have a light-skinned guy have a dark tooth.
And then it look dark, so it's nice off to me.
So okay, so
I feel like it's supposed to be pink because they light-skinned. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want it to be dark because then I'm gonna say you dirty.
Broken screen, crash system. Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair Print.
Husband thought I did.
First Street and the 71st Street corridor newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
All day. Check it out. See, while you was on the corner trying to scrape up pack money, I was driving 80 stack trucks on money. The 100 from me, meet them OGs that are blast for me. I'm right here Ill Adidas, $400 jeans on me. Itchy with no safety, a loaded magazine on me. Southside, that's as wild as it gets. And no, I never sold crack, that's some house nigga shit. I'm not judging, but every man that's a man gotta stand by his principles, and I'm not budging. That's Mickey. You can take it how you want, but you can never be me. You can fake it how you want. I spit that uncut raw. You can bake it how you want. Break it down any way you like. You get the same result. Get in tune. The elephant in the room has now assumed pole position. Whoa. Oh. BJ, get him. Come on.
Reporting live from the gutter where that butter get gorillas jobs. That's why we call it work. The same work will get a nigga robbed. I throw my dice against the concrete. If the bitches pass, see you later. Grab my paper, tell her stay to kiss my ass. This the jungle, baby, I'm a lion. Try me, I'll be firing. The same banger saved Private Brian. You the prey, you survive and hide. Better pray that them vultures and them rovers don't go flying by him. The mother niggas just so-so. How did the birth a nigga this hot in the cold go? I went from 20-inch assassins on that Osmo to the pretty 760 sitting low on them bozos. Those are big shoes, you motherfuckers is so slow. Get caught without your heat in these streets is a no-no. Baby need Pampers, daddy need that photo. It's bread or nothing, big old niggas, you see the logo. Whoa. Whoa. Come on, Scooter. Look, I don't see a nigga alive. And if a nigga claim he better, then that nigga done lied. And if some niggas jump chose, bet them niggas done died. You can always spot a cobra by the look in his eyes. You look at his click, check out his bitch, look at his guys. Cause 9 times out of 10, all that tough shit be just a disguise. And that does it. I got the chrome Mac in a black luggage. Cause money ain't the root of evil, Jack is the lack of it. I stay different. I move around like y'all hate women. I'm starting to think this whole industry full of gay bitches. No checkers, it's a chess game. Catch me in the next lane. Fly nigga, bunch of ice on me like my chest frame. All money.
Welcome back. We are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said on a Relationship Friday, which means we are joined by the one and only Miss Juliet Scott. Jules, how are you?
I am excellent. Thank you.
I am glad to hear it, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come out and hang out with little old us. We appreciate it.
I appreciate being here, although I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, about that. About that. We discussed that and upon further review. No, I'm kidding.
Denied.
Your request for a vacation has been denied. Hey, y'all seen them memes from that little white dude? He's like a weird looking white dude. He make these fucking like TikTok videos, and I see him on Instagram about like working at like IKEA, and he just like be japping on like the customers and shit. When the customers come in and ask him stupid shit. So fucking funny, G. Or anything.
Customers always right. No, the fuck.
Right. No, the fuck they're not. What's up, Ron?
Fix 2 camera.
All right, cool. Yeah, he be them shit's funny. I can't think of the dude's name. I don't even know his name for real. But those fucking videos are funny to me. So
I'll have to be on the lookout.
Are you on social media like other than Facebook?
No, I'm working on it though.
Okay.
I have tags. I just don't engage very often, but I'm learning how to navigate those spaces.
Okay, it's necessary. Try like onlyfarmers.com, Christian Mingle. You know what I'm saying? Those are some sites to check out.
Is it necessary though?
No, it depends. It's only necessary if it depends on what you're doing. Other than that, no, it's not necessary. Yeah. I hadn't been on Facebook for 15 years or something like that until a few months ago when it became necessary. What I said.
I think it's fair to say it's necessary because it's an opportunity for global connection, and if we're trying to move forward as a nation, we got to take every opportunity to connect with everybody, and we can't always be in front of people. So I think that's fair.
I get it. Right, but I was having this conversation the other day in context of the little brother Hard Knock that came up here. Mm-hmm. This is what it is and we can't change it. This is what it is, we can't change it. And one of the statements that I think Herb might have asked him, like, do you think Dirk has the power to create a new narrative because of his popularity?
Okay.
And the little boy's like, nah, he can't do shit with it, right? And I thought about that, and in context, I kind of agree with him, right? Now, that doesn't mean I don't think nothing can be done in the situation. I just don't think Dirk is the purveyor of the person who can make that happen.
Okay.
Right? And I think what has to happen for that energy to shift is that voice has to come from a different space, and a space that's more authentic and genuine. And I think because everything is so, at least socially at this moment, is kind of wrapped into the realms of the digital space. Every idea comes out of that platform, the social platform. So in order for a new idea to emerge and have real value and impact, I think it has to come from somewhere different. That's my personal opinion.
Interesting.
Right? So you think about Malcolm, or you think about King, and how they kind of, one, social media didn't exist, of course, but they didn't have access to media in the same way either. Right? Okay. So they created their own media networks, the Final Call, or Talking on the Corner on 135th in Harlem, or they garnered that kind of attention in a different kind of organic way.
Yes.
Right? And it birthed that energy birthed them in a different light. And I think that's the same thing that has to happen with us. That voice has to come from somewhere different.
Interestingly enough, though, as dangerous as media can be, it kind of changed the game when people were able to see black men and women hose down, with fire hoses. So I think media has its value, and it's expanded to being in a social internet platform nowadays, but we can't necessarily discredit the power of media. I think it's just a matter of us using it appropriately.
Yeah, I think if used properly, you can find it to be a useful tool, right?
Powerful tool.
Sure. I think that when you use examples like the one you just gave from the civil rights movement, I think, certainly Dr. King was aware that when they crossed that Pettus Bridge, they was going to get their ass beat, right? Yeah. But he was also aware that was going to be recorded, and it was going to go across the world, and everybody would see what was happening here, right? It's the same thing that when you had all the videos last month about, what's going on in Palestine. Not like people want people to be able to see it, and then they think people will connect to it, right? It's large part, we talked about when the sentence comes through with Derek Chauvin, in large part, he was only convicted, and we'll see what the sentencing comes down here whenever it comes down, because of social media.
Don't disagree, but there's context. And I don't want to say just social media either, because the message maybe can't travel through social media, but the actions happened on the street. It wasn't the message, it was the actions that got him convicted, right? I was listening to something this morning about his sentencing, and they said that he's probably, the standard is 12 years. That's the standard in Minnesota.
Prosecutors asked for 40, and they came through with their reasoning for why. They presented 5 reasons, 5 escalators in his behavior that would escalate it to a situation where the judge can accept it as being going above what the guidelines call for. The judge approved 4 of those 5 escalators. One being that he was a person in power and trusted within the community. Another being that his actions, he committed his actions in front of children. Another being that he was negligent in his behavior towards George Floyd. And the other being that he was aided and assisted by 3 or more people.
So again, I was listening to this before that even came down. The information wasn't even known to the sentencing started, right? But they knew that there was going to be escalators attached, right? And the lawyer that was speaking about it on this interview that I was listening to was like, whatever they attach to those escalators, it's really about the popularity of this actual case.
Yeah.
Sure.
In the public sphere.
Sure.
Right? So I don't want shit to go haywire. This motherfucker got to get some real jail time.
Right.
We could attach his kids there. His video, they could attach.
That's where I think social media presents its value in this particular case. I think overwhelmingly, I think it's a net negative. I think social media is a net negative, but I do think that you can find some positive.
And I'm not making an argument. I don't think it's a net negative. I'm saying in order to inflict real change, though, tangible change, movement change. It has to come from somewhere different. And I think after time, all of those media outlets become bastardized. Even the George Floyd case, if we're going to be honest, right? Let's keep it a buck. Who's talking about that?
Right.
Who's talking about the impact of that? Who's talking about even where the capital went? Because if we was paying attention, there was a lot of money pushed down by corporations and others when George Floyd got murdered. They was donating and investing in fucking. Where's that response to that?
Yeah.
Where's our community's response to anything that's happening?
Our response
we only
to not
respond when they say hit the kill switch and pay attention. We only respond when they tell you to pay attention. I.e., it's fake interest.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck. So even when we talk a relationship here, I heard that for 30 minutes, and I'm moving back to what the fuck is real to me, what's tangible to me. So how do we have an impact that goes beyond those 4 to 5 seconds that people are tuned in to what you're talking about on whatever outlet?
I'll share. You guys were talking about lady runner,
Sha'Carri. I don't know her last name. I should at this point, but I don't.
And
Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson. Thanks.
And so behind, I saw a video of that. You mentioned Herb, and it just kind of put me in a different space where I'm getting more focused around my training and so forth. So yes, it depends on the person whether or not they're going to take something off of this social platform and allow it to show up in their life in such a way that it makes a difference. So I think it depends on the person, but the opportunity is present, and so I think that's the real value.
I mean, I'm not knocking it, but it also gives anybody a platform.
It does.
Right. And it, again, I think about this all the time, like outside of social media. I think because social media is such the force that it is, it's forced real media outlets to kind of dilute what media really is supposed to be. Even in the context of how it's been manipulated throughout time. Right. It was an art form to even how they manipulate it. It's not even that anymore. It's dumbed down to the level where we're competing with, we're racing to the story instead of having a story.
Yes. Creating
the story. The story has no value for channel whatever. You know what I mean? And outside of that, there used to be like full out journalism shows. There used to be even real journalism. Like when you read the newspaper today, it's kind of dumbed down. You know what I mean? It doesn't get really in depth to the story. So now you have these special segments where they might follow something or track something differently. Now I agree with the power of media. I get it. Right? I think media has more control over the country than government. Personally, you know what I mean? But what we got to understand is that corporations and government coalesce to control media. You know what I mean? So the goal is to keep everybody's asses stupid. And what you see is a reverberation of that stupidness in the context of the conversations that you have on these social media sites. I know we don't like to look at ourselves as stupid, but it's a lot of stupid shit.
Oh, that's real.
You know what I mean? And that frequency is very, very low. And it keeps, it's like basketball or football. It's like muscle memory. This is the only place my mind can go because this is all I practice.
And the practice just tapping, not really sticking with anything with any longevity, like grabbing a piece of a story and then running with that piece and not even picking up the rest of it to the point where you could do something valuable with it also can show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's conditioning. Right, it's conditioning. Like the point you made about politics and media, that point well made. Right, it is the reason why politicians spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to get their messaging out through media. Right, it ain't just, hey, I'm the best politician, y'all should vote for me. It's who the fuck had the most commercials on TV? Okay, who the fuck can put the most billboards around this town?
Nobody's looking past the commercials of the billboard.
Yeah, it don't fucking matter.
And it's interesting because sometimes it doesn't even matter the content. I just remember I know your name, so maybe that's the name I should check off when I go into the ballot box.
Yeah, but that's such a fucking let me not use that term. That is such a fucking novice way of viewing your political responsibility, right? As a civilian, I remember the one of my earliest memories in school was being in second grade specifically, and we were doing a mock election, like a mock presidential election. Maybe this was first grade, but we were doing a mock presidential election, and the candidates were Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush, right? At the time, I had never seen Bill Clinton's face, never heard his name, fucking matter. But I had George H.W. Bush's face before. I don't even know if I fucking knew his name at the time, but I had seen his face a whole lot. I fucking circled George H.W. Bush. Now, going back, I'm not any more prouder or not proud than I said, fuck Bill Clinton too, right? Fuck both of them, right? But, as I grew up, I was like, damn, I was bugging for making that decision, right? And it's like, but I didn't fucking know any better. But to be an adult and still see adults behaving in that manner, like, oh, yeah, I do know who Bobby Rush is.
But there's the crux of the totality of this conversation, though, that we heard. We don't act as adults.
Right.
We act as older children.
Right.
And the reason why we act like older children is because we've been conditioned that the only value to adulthood is that in the context of currency.
going back to the conversation you all were having right before I walked in.
Right. That's what I mean when I said the grandfather is no different than the little boy that who's depending on him.
Agreed.
They're all operating in the same sphere. So when we start talking about elevating the conversation and what does that mean, right? There's work that has to be partaking upon, or that you have to partake in to elevate yourself to adulthood. Getting old don't make your ass an elder.
Nah.
It make you an old dumb motherfucker.
Right. That's it.
Right?
That's it.
And that's not a level of responsibility or respect. And you
or intellect or nothing.
And now you see it reverberating. Because what you hear from the shorties today, which is I think is very interesting. Hard Knock said he was in here when he was in here. We don't like no old niggas. He didn't make no qualms about it.
Yeah.
It was a blanket statement. We don't like no old niggas.
Right.
Right? I think about my generation. Me.
Yeah.
Right?
Me.
I crave the attention from the old niggas.
I still do.
Still do.
Any random
when
day you
calls
catch.
here, you see both of us shut the fuck up.
Any random day you see me chilling with 60-year-olds.
But
same way.
But the paradigm is being shifted. There's no real value attached to them old niggas that they don't like. Cause they just niggas with they same mindset that move slower and can't operate as fast. They ain't thinking differently at all.
Right. Now I agree with you.
Now that's the street version. But it also plays out in how you relate to women. It also plays out in how women relate to men. You're looking at your life like you looked at the fucking George Bush and Bill Clinton election. What's most visible? What's the
familiar?
shiniest shit? What's familiar? Because I can't rely on my thought process. Fucking.
And that familiar piece is what scares me about going into our next election for a mayor, because I think some people at some point is going to get comfortable like, well, we know that devil. So, if they see it that way, the devil versus the one that you don't.
Sure. Raymond, you raised a good point about the Chauvin sentencing, and if it comes down while we are still on air, I will certainly give my perspective on that. I don't think you're wrong. I have a little bit of a different nuanced perspective on that piece, but I feel you wholeheartedly. Getting back to what you was just talking about though too, I recently saw something about ever since this Kevin Samuels thing has became this big old thing. I've always said, one, dude's an asshole, right? But two, he's absolutely right for the people he's fucking talking to, right? Everybody he's talking to, they're existing within that bullshit ass construct. And so nobody there within has the right to be like, oh, he ain't right, he bogus. Bullshit. He's talking about the same game y'all all fucking playing. And he's talking about it quite honestly. And if women want to call up and have this dude fucking rate them to see if they are worthy of a high value man, your dumb ass deserves to hear whatever he got to say. You know what I'm saying? Period. Now, I've seen recently talking about this idea of Kevin Samuels versus in this versus culture that we live in. Shout out to Tim and Swiss. Kevin Samuels versus Iyanla Vanzant, right? And your point just made me think about that because that's not a real conversation. Those two people can't have a debate, right? They're not talking. They're not speaking the same language, right? And so Kevin Samuels can sit in front of Iyanla Vanzant and make every single point that he makes on his own fucking show and be just as valid on there, but it's not gonna make sense talking to Iyanla Vanzant and vice versa. She can make her points on the same one she make on her show. It ain't gonna y'all speaking two different fucking languages. She's talking about an elevated sense of consciousness and spirituality, and you talking about high value, low value, based on a bullshit construct. So the verses between them two would be like fucking Chris Brown versus I don't even fucking know the other person. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Those two it's two completely different value sets, and to have them debate is fucking Martians and fucking people from Earth.
But I wonder if there's always the opportunity or the potential for someone to hear something from either side that would be enlightening or resonate with them differently, that would allow a change in their life.
Perhaps, but even then it would be like somebody speaking another language that you don't speak, but you hear a word that kind of sounds similar, you're going to misplace the fuck out of it. Like, oh, I think you said such and such. And in English, that means this. Motherfucker, that means some whole other shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how you can intersect those two polar opposite constructs. You know, if they were similar, if you had a Kevin Samuels arguing with another person within that construct that just had a slightly different point of view, then they can debate all day. Vice versa with Iyanla Vanzant. But you're talking about polar. I don't know how they can even do that shit for real.
Some of the videos I like to listen to of Dr. John Henry Clark were some of his debates, and sometimes just that experience, him being the avid learner that he was able to dismantle what showed up in some of those arguments for the opposing side, and I think that there is always that opportunity that if they're good at it and they have the knowledge and the ability, they can dismantle the other argument, and so there is the possibility of enlightenment.
So when you start talking about John Henry Clark, though, his quote, right? I only debate my equals, all else I teach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All others I teach.
Yes.
What's happening now is that those who need to be taught are unteachable, and they're becoming the voice of reason, right? Dummies have always been in abundance.
Yeah, you go.
Are they really unteachable, though?
Listen, they've become the standard.
It's more CD students than A students.
It's not about even more, though, right? Again, they've always been in more abundance. It's just what it is, right? There's going to always be a larger populace of dumb people than there are of intellects. But what's happened is there's been a shifting of values that values this dumb shit more than we value the intellect.
Right.
That's the difference, right? So Beach comes in here and he says, hey, man, this is us at the Ali Summit, right?
Yes.
And Perv says, man, I really respect that y'all made that sacrifice, right? Beach says 2 fucking words and it changes our whole opinion of
life.
Of the last 30 years of viewing this fucking image.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Because we've been socialized in a certain kind of way to say, damn, they risked a lot.
Right.
Beach said, no, we ain't risk shit.
We were just standing in our proper polarity.
We value.
Right.
We didn't risk a goddamn thing because we didn't value the bullshit that y'all thought we valued.
That changed.
And that's from our generation. That's even me. I'm like, you know. But from that standpoint, if we start from my generation on or after my generation, that value stuff is completely shifted.
Yeah.
Right? Because now that shiny shit is the only value.
Yeah.
So the old heads that would come through the community like Beach at the time and just drop a gem on your ass and keep it pushing. And that's Beach.
Yeah.
I know dope boys that would drop gems on me and I'd be like, damn, that shit was genius.
Yeah.
This motherfucker cold.
Yeah.
I live for that attention from the dope boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that, and I'm only using the context of the streets, right? But I'm assuming it happens with mothers and aunties, grandmamas and daughters. The shit is dumbed down to a point where the grandmama's listening to Cardi B with your 6-year-old ass. So it's 2 fucking prostitute dumbasses sitting in radio, only reinforcing very dumbass ideas.
Get that bread, get that head, then leave.
The granddaddy's fucking the grandson's baby mama.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? The little boy FBG Duck, and I'm not putting his shit out there.
Right.
But there's, when he died, the ops was like, we was fucking your mama.
Yeah. Bugging.
That's beyond my scope of understanding.
Derek Chauvin just gave.
But it speaks to why we're in this kind of rotating cycle of foolishness. Because those who are supposed to be leaders of the community, if not any other capacity, mentally, if not any other capacity with character and morals, we're not. Because love don't mean shit. Transactions has become God. Capital has become God. That is my value asset. So what can I get out of this, and who's in the way or who gets hurt by that? Give a fuck. Because that ain't what I value in the first place.
But at some point, I think that there's going to be a place where a person hits rock bottom, and it's going to feel empty, and then there's the opportunity to build. Like, I think I've heard you say, Herb, that something good doesn't happen behind something that's good or okay. It's when stuff gets really bad. And so maybe that bottom has to hit, and hopefully it'll hit a little bit faster. But we can't quit. And I think that the onus, you all had a conversation recently about the teacher. So I think sometimes as teachers, we need to show up differently. Just because we're not operating in an answer that works right now doesn't mean that there isn't an answer to reach them, even though that they're in this space of capitalism and the tangible stuff. Because other stuff feels really good if you access it. Like if someone celebrates you and you get a chance to have these internal growth opportunities, it feels better than being able to buy something. So create those opportunities and those experiences, maybe we'll have more of that from our young people.
I'm with it.
You with it?
I'm with it, but I don't think I know the way I'm communicating the message with 2 dumbasses. I'm saying it sounds very, very judgmental. Let me retract those statements. I don't want to come off as being judgmental, right? Because I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. I think that the balance is out of whack. Those people never go away. They never do. It's part of the design. You know what I mean? But the balance is out of whack, right?
Definitely.
So while they're tipping the scales, the demise of our social construct is failing. I just saw a video the other day of two people jumped out of a car in mid-traffic on 87 right by the damn Ryan with AK-47s and shot up another vehicle at the stoplight. You know how much traffic is on 87th Street right there, right? And another car was filming it. I couldn't tell if the shooters were women or men. I couldn't tell, right? Their disposition, the way they move, it looked very feminine to me, but in today's society, who the fuck knows, right? But there's no regard for nothing beyond what it is I want to do in this very moment. All of these are reflections of the mental state that we're all operating in. And even the fact that they just shot the shit out of a car. When that light turned green, everybody drove off like nothing fucking happened. So that's not just a reflection of the shooters.
Yeah.
That's a reflection of a larger society.
Including relationships.
Everything. It's all interconnected.
And so we talk about teachers, but we talk also, and I've heard you guys mention this, the relationship with the student makes a difference as to how that student's behavior changes or what they think. So where are whatever teachers, whether it's in a school space, a home space, that's going to make that shift happen where it's not about me doing whatever I want. I am a part of a bigger community and I can't function like this. Like that relationship, no rules without relationship. That's you, right, Toussaint? That's you, yeah. So
rules without relationships breed rebellion.
So we got to have better relationships so we can redirect this behavior.
Yeah, but even that comes back to the same thing. It still comes back to what we value in a relationship, right? Like whether that be spousal, parental, familial, neighbor, whatever. You know what I mean? The value that we place on those friendships and the value that we hold ourselves is going to impact how that relationship plays out and how we interact with that person either way. So I think that it's going to be eventually everybody's going to have to do some soul searching for themselves and figure out where they at on this thing. And that's been done to be okay. The fact that the vast majority will be on the side of current said construct as opposed to whatever needs to change about it. And that's not to say that those of us who are on the other side can't flip that script. Yeah. But it is to say that
that's not making noise.
with absolute certainty, it's going to lean heavily the other way initially. And that's the unfortunate reality. The Derek Chauvin sentencing phase is in recess right now. I just saw Derek Chauvin give his statement. I saw his attorney give his statement, and the George Floyd family as well as Derek Chauvin's mother gave impact statements as well. The judge heard them all and then took a recess. Maybe he'll be back in the next 27 minutes to deliver that sentencing. I kind of doubt that we'll get it before 3 o'clock, but perhaps either way, if they do, we will certainly bring it to y'all when it comes out. But even if he comes out of his chambers, that shit tends to take another 20 minutes just for him to say whatever the fuck he's trying to say. So we'll see how that goes. But that is happening right now. I'm looking at this dude. They got this Toussaint Werner here right now. He ain't even Cornel West, but he's in that vibe. Hey,
Cornel Fresh.
Cornel Fresh.
Just get it right.
Let me get it right. No disrespect, my brother.
That
Cornel Fresh. Speaking of fresh, we got the new Izwiz Capitulate t-shirts are in. Let me.
Don't be a bitch.
Hold on, you
or later.
You hold yours up, and I'll just put you on camera. We can just zoom into yours instead of trying to view them all. Hold on. There we go. Now hold it up.
Wear mine.
Hold it up, Toussaint. Into your camera thingy majigget over there.
Where's my camera thingy majigget?
That one is yours too.
Bam! I think I'm in there.
Yeah, now you go. Now you perfect on it.
Trying to see it on my phone.
No, you on point. You on point. Just hold it right there for a second, and I will.
You gotta read it because I don't know.
I will zoom in on you, and then I will read it. The word is capitulate.
You capitulators.
It is a verb. Means to cease to resist an opponent or an unwelcome demand. Surrender. Must never capitulate enemy forces. I said what I said.
Stop being a capitulator.
That is the new shirt.
You capitulators.
Let me zoom out of your face
I gotta
now.
give me some maxes to match this.
Oh, I actually have some.
Nike for this shirt.
I actually have some. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned it because I actually just got some Air Maxes that's gonna set this joint off.
So where can they purchase these shirts?
Jules.
Jules knows we don't.
Where can they
you
get their
brothers have to
commercial
help me with that. But for right now, I'll put up a link on the Facebook page.
Okay.
But right now, we'll put it on the Shopify site until we link. Oh, okay. 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 Well, all right. Well,
baby, I don't know. We'll put a link up by tomorrow.
We'll put a link up by tomorrow.
That's
but
what we'll
you
do.
have an assignment in order for me
I
to be able to make
absolutely
that.
have an assignment tonight. Obviously, I do.
Okay. Then we can make that happen.
Right.
They are in. Y'all are welcome to them. We got small through 4X. Is that what it is?
I believe. Yep. 4X is the large.
Size is small through 4X. We might have to get 5X because one of the
we
family.
do have one 5X.
Okay, cool. I was good. Good because one of the families are big and tall. Okay,
so we have one 5X.
I need a medium.
You need a medium, your little ass.
Is there an opportunity for anyone to win a T-shirt?
It is.
Yeah, y'all mentioned that before the show. But hold on, before y'all put out the ability, the contest, or however they can go about winning the shirt, I want y'all to know we got smalls through 4X, unless you are the one person who's previously ordered 5Xs. I will hold on to that for him if he so chooses to have one, at least for a little while. That being said, these shits when they are gone, they gone. We're not gonna reprint these shirts again. All right. So if y'all want them, if y'all want them, they are here.
Everything we do from this point forward is going to be collector's item. We're not going to.
Yeah, we're not going to like print things and then reprint them. We're going to do them, and you either get that batch of those, or you get the next batch of whatever. There are enough for y'all, but only if y'all come on and get them. So if y'all want to send messages and say, "Hey, I want one. Can I cash app? Can I do this, do that, do the third?" While we putting the link up, y'all can do that too. Send us a message on the I Said What I Said page. And do it, definitely through the I Say What I Said page. Please don't hit our personal pages. Y'all know I'm terrible at it. He's better than me. But go to the I Say What I Said Facebook page, and we can work that out with y'all as well. But these shirts are in, and I love the colors. These are fire.
I love the colors.
The olive green with a bit of a neon joint. I'm about to, is this mine? Yeah, this is mine. I'm damn near gave it back. Anyhow, we all good. So that is that. Now, how can people win it?
Toussaint.
Jules. I forgot what you said, but I was with it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so if anyone could post right now, the first person to post Toussaint's worthy reason for capitulation. He said it last week.
That who capitulated? The two?
Well, yes, the week before.
I had a worthy reason of why I capitulated. I don't know if I said it was worthy, but I capitulated.
It was your reason at the time.
It was my reason. I don't know if it was worthy, but I capitulated for something.
It's not an excuse, it's just a reason.
And when the first time I said, yeah, so I capitulated. And Jules looked at me, I said, you're right. I capitulated.
Oh, that's right. That's when I wasn't here.
And you sent the text
and
message.
And I sent the message, I was like, no, use the right word. I put in the comments, like, use the right word now. Okay, we're going to hold ourselves to the same standard of capitulating. These are fire though. I dig these. I like them, and they feel good too. Yeah, you know what? The first thing I check for on a t-shirt, even I was gonna say other than how it feels, even before how it feels, is the collar. I need a nice collar. I can't stand to have like a skanky ass collar that's just hanging off like you got a little person hanging off your collar all day and it's all out of shape. I can't stand. I call them skanky. It's a skanky ass collar, and I don't like it.
That sounds like a horrible experience.
It's just trash. A lot of t-shirts they be like that, but this has a very nice collar. I dig it. I'm rocking it. And I got kicks to go with it already. Go crazy.
I might bring back out my Jordans, though. I can get away with this with my mics.
That's true.
Yeah, man.
I'm charged. I might
pine greens.
I probably wear this weekend. So.
I can get away with the pine greens. It's summertime. I've been wanting to bring the pine greens back out. They've been getting disrespected.
Disrespect.
I got some brand new Air Max 95s in the box.
In the box.
No, they're not 95s either. I'm lying. They're 90s.
So this is just a side note, and it's funny as fuck. I got on Wallabies right now. Mm-hmm. Right.
And that shirt is cold too. It's real summery. It's real grown too.
A whole bunch of them. I'm gonna be fresh for the summer.
No, I like that. It literally feels it's light. It's linen shit you got going on. They got a collar, but not a collar.
I can do the barbecue or the business meat.
You can. It's versatile.
Yeah, you got to switch it up.
From the streets to the suites, baby.
From the streets to the suites. You know,
intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest.
Before I came in here, so
I love it.
Halfway decent. But listen, I was at a family graduation, and I came in with my Wallabies and my nephew, who's a Jordan freak, and he ain't all that goddamn young. He's like 30 something,
right?
Maybe 30 on the dot.
Okay.
He's like, because he admires my shoe collection.
Right.
He's like, fuck you got on. He was like, what did he call him? He said, what is them to give us free 5,000?
Not to give us free 5,000. Wallabies, hush puppies, that shit was smacking.
Crying, laughing. I was like, get your punk ass away from me.
He's just not hip. Just not hip. Let me ask you a question. We already talked about this because you said you ain't got no problem being outside with your toes out. Do you like the damn, I can't even think of the name of the fucking sandal now. Fuck. Never mind. It'll come to me well after the show.
What's so special about the sandal?
I just kind of like it. If I was willing to wear something like that with my foot out, I kind of like it. They comfortable. They got the little imprint for your toes and the little separate. Like it's
interesting.
Nothing to go in between your toes, like in the sole of the shoe. I don't know why I can't think of the fucking name of the shoe. It'll hit me in a minute. But they look little sandals, and I think that everybody should have a pair of these shits. They raw. They're kind of expensive, but they comfortable and they look nice. But me outside with my whole foot out is just trash. I can't see it.
I went to Jerry Lorenzo's Fear God sandals, though. Those are fresh.
Okay.
They cost like $1,200. So
I ain't hip. Okay, that's why I'm not hip to.
Unless they fall off a truck.
I was about to tell you.
I'm going to try to make sure it happens. I won't have them.
Folks still hitting the freights?
Trucks, freights. I was just
shit falls off in my direction sometimes.
Hey, look at this. What fell off? Hit a lick 400, damn near fell in my safe. What you want me to do? It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Let's see. No, they're not coming out yet. I thought they was coming. I thought the judge that came out of chambers. Not quite yet.
But those relationships, just like you just mentioned with your nephew, and you're the uncle, and that connection, and just
Birkenstocks. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Candace. Birkenstocks.
I'll have to look into it.
I like those sandals. If I was into sandals.
Well, if anybody knows where the Jerry Lorenzo's Fear Gods are and they fall off a truck near you, let me know.
A truck near you.
You know what I'm saying?
See, it would require a relationship to make that happen.
I know somewhere you go and get the Jerry Lorenzo's Fear of Mythical Sky Daddies for a little bit of nothing.
Hey,
I don't think Sky Daddy is so mythical, though. So,
he's mythical.
I'm a believer.
Me too.
I'm not a Big Bang theorist. Yeah, I'm not a Big Bang theorist. That's not really what I believe.
I'm Sky Daddy. You Sky Daddy.
I agree with that.
You Sky Mama.
I agree with that.
Yeah, okay.
I agree with that as well.
It's not mythical. We're real. We're real. We're tangible. He's not real. The idea itself is not tangible.
If nothing else, right, it's a spiritual thing for me that is a connection to the universe in a way that's like, I think that some higher power created this fucking universe. And my connection to it is the same thing that I get filled up by, like when I'm in church, but also I get filled up by when I'm, standing at the lakefront or watching the sunrise or watching the sunset or staring at some mountain somewhere. It's that kind of relationship that I have with the universe that doesn't really allow me to, litter or throw shit down on the ground or, that kind of relationship that I just have with the universe, that it's spiritual for me, it's powerful. And I think that when I am in proper communication and relationship with that spirit or that universe, shit just flows better for me. It flows my way. And so I choose to stay aligned with it. I believe in it.
Bless your heart.
Bless my heart.
And some people phrase it as
that could make me God, for sure.
Yes. But I believe that relationship has value. And I'm wondering if that's part of the reason why there's such a disconnect with higher values, because we don't believe in something higher than ourselves. So why shouldn't we just do whatever, whenever?
Did I call him old, Shannon? If I did, he is.
That might be real. I can see that, right? And maybe that's something else we need to speak to, right? The lack of impact that the church currently has in our community. You know what I mean? And the impact that it used to have in our community, and how that impact served us or didn't serve us, right? But the church, we don't like to think of it like this, but the church is really a political entity. Mm-hmm. It was a political entity before slavery. It was a political entity in its design, in all honesty, right? But as our political power or our political class just became operatives of white supremacy, then what's the real value of the church?
But even beyond church, what about spirituality, like connecting with the higher power? So if that's your first connect is the church, then yeah.
I'm with it, which is why I asked you the question I asked you earlier, is like, is the church and the president, are they operating in the same space? I think the goddamn con has been shifted, right? So, but even when we was pretending, mm-hmm. right? Even if you was just pretending that, hey, I know I can get the money from being in the church position, I have power from being in the church position, I could at least sell you on the concept of this connectivity. I could sell you tickets to heaven. Mm-hmm. right? And you would sit your ass in pews trying to get your ticket to heaven, and I'm gonna abide by these laws and policies, or these standards, or this identity to get my ticket to heaven. Now we have that disconnect. There's no connection there. But just like anything else, right? Over a period of time, if you're not authentic and genuine in your delivery or your life or your how you produce, those relationships never gonna stay. Because you're gonna be whoever you're talking to, whoever you're communing with, is gonna grow past your lie. It has to be authentic. It has to be genuine. Because if it's not, you grow past the lie.
But even if you start out faking it, I remember coming across some documentary where a guy came to believe in God trying to disprove. So you might happen upon spirituality even in that experience of going in just to capitalize off of a situation.
Mm-hmm. I think they one and the same, to be honest, though. Right? I think the context of religion is really my qualm, not God or spirituality. Yeah. Right?
Religion is different.
Religion is my qualm, right? But I believe I'm God. So to say I don't believe in God would mean I don't believe in me. That's a falsehood.
Right.
Right? But the construct itself is the game that's being played. It's this theater to me. It's theatrical, right? Here's whether it be the white Jesus or the black Jesus. Mm-hmm. Now that's mythical sky daddy to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's a story attached to that to sell you on spiritual liberation. You know what I mean? Everything he's talking about is already within you. You just got to tap into your inner self. That's my opinion.
And it's so interesting how we'll stop at the story that we were introduced to versus digging beyond that, because if you look at the stories presented in the Bible and you go back a little bit further and look at some of the stories about the Egyptian gods and goddesses, you'll find that's where some of them are rooted. And so when you dig and find your own ancestry and your own connection back to the motherland, you might find spirituality different because for whatever reason, you couldn't rock with this watered down version of it.
Maybe so.
So there's opportunity there too.
But either way, the consequence or the response is everything we see in our society. The shooters that jump out at the light. And this is what I want to really, really be clear in how I communicate this. Right, because we tend to think of the shooter who jumps out of the light is very different than the guy who lives at the suburb, who really has the same mentality. He just is not exhibited as the shooter who jumps out of the light. You know what I mean? And that's
destructive
why,
differently.
Right. The visual perception of it gives us a different understanding of it. It's like intelligence versus articulation. They ain't the same fucking thing.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? So I think in context, though, what's happening in regards to our relationships, and that's why I read the statements I read from Facebook today, because one comes from a upstanding community member who other people value as a upstanding community member. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Other from a guy who doesn't really the community say he doesn't have the same value asset, and one was articulated very different than the other.
Sure,
but when you get to the core of both messages, they the same fucking message. Right?
Yeah.
And if one is holding a position of power and one isn't, what the fuck is the difference between the one that isn't and the one that is? And should that one who is really be holding some level of power? And I'm not knocking the sister because I love her. Mm-hmm. But I think that the ideas and the messages must change. They must grow. Mm-hmm. You got to have some kind of vision beyond what's directly in front of our face. You can't lead me if you can't. If we see the same distance, fuck I'm listening to you for.
Yeah, but we are confused about oppositional viewpoints, their stances, right? We, from the very highest level of our American society, when we talk about Republicans and Democrats, we think that we are coming from two polar different perspectives. No, the fuck, right? Fucking Republicans are talking the same shit that the guys are talking about, right?
You ever see Bullworth?
Nah.
I love that. Uh-huh.
That's what they be on?
Yeah. You got to see it. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's another Bullworth with Chris Rock. There's a bunch of them kind of movies like all through the diaspora of television and literature too, those stories. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
But he says there's no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats.
There's no difference.
No, they run the same
It's
script.
just presentation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't think of is it the spook who sat by the door? Isn't that the same kind of context as Bullworth? If I remember correctly?
I haven't seen Bullworth, but I do know Spook who sat by the door.
Well, from the exposure sense, yeah, I would say so. From an exposure sense, yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't necessarily the political conversation, but it was a government entity, being exposed in essence.
I want to highlight a point that I think Boosie made this point earlier about this Derek Chauvin sentencing today. anytime that you want to, I guess not bury a story, but to have it have as little impact as possible,
Friday.
You do it on a Friday. You do it on a Friday. People are, getting ready to get off work. They're going to they travel, and then comes. There's no cycle with the same level as during the week, and so you kind of do it late on a Friday. And the judge is back in the courtroom now. He's back on his whatever.
Stand.
Yeah, he's back on his seat. He's back on the bench, and he just got there. I still doubt that he's going to actually deliver this sentence within the next 10 minutes. We'll see. If he does, we'll all find out together, and I'll tell you what it is. I don't really care to hear this 15-minute summation about whatever he's about to say. Just want to know what he's going to give the dude. But he's on the stand, and he is talking right now. When he comes through with his verdict or his, with his sentence, if it happens in the next 8 minutes or so, we will tell y'all. But Boosie, I think that your point was absolutely right about why they're doing this on a Friday opposed to morning, Wednesday even. There's a reason for this. I don't know what that means in terms of how it bodes for his sentencing. Does it mean he's going to get something lighter than we would hope for, and so they're trying to bury that as much as possible? Perhaps. But we're going to find out here in the next few minutes or so. We shall see. But the judge is speaking right now. We'll find out that sentencing here shortly.
Do you think our demographic, the black demographic specifically, let's say 50 and below, pay attention to the traditional news cycles though?
No, I think mostly people get their news from social media. But even that is a different cycle, right? It still kind of falls into the same cycle of what else is going on in terms of a Friday night, a weekend, and the traditional news cycle. So I think still there is some reason why you find out certain things on certain days as opposed to other days. Yeah, especially when you talk about national news. I'm watching this on a national network right now. I'm sure it's on all the national networks, but
no, I get it. I'm trying to master the cycle though myself. Like I'm just thinking about it, like how we create, how we produce, how do we dish out, and how we publish in different forms to build up our own audiences. Like what makes sense, what cycle is important, how are we tuned into these spaces, what are we tuning into? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a question that we want to have with the Is Wiz family too going forward in terms of how you all digest I Say What I Said in terms of the time that you do it, how the frequency of it. Is that what you prefer? We've done different models, right? So we've done twice a week, we've done 5 days a week, we've done 3 days a week. I know when we went to 5 and then we scaled back to 3. Some of y'all was like, "Oh, that was but I think that was more of like an emotional response to us just like being gone, more so than like are we really missing something here, right? And I don't know that it make our conversation is a daily conversation, but I want to talk to y'all about that. Is it a weekly conversation? Is it a semi-weekly conversation where you do it twice a week or whatever? I'm going to have that conversation with y'all, so we'll do that on the I Said What I Said group page. Remember, again, the Capitulate t-shirts are in. The link will be up on the I Said What I Said page by tomorrow. If you want to go ahead and put an order in before then, just send us a message on the I Said What I Said page. Also, 10 more slots have been opened up for the plant-based African barbecue this Sunday at Sip and Savor on 43rd. So the link for that or the Cash App tag for that is in the comments. It's pinned to the comments. You can get at Sadiq for that. If you want to come and join in on the plant-based African barbecue this Sunday at Sip and Savor. One more thing before we get out of here, and I'll drop you off here just for a sec, Jules. Toussaint and I, after some deliberation and some thought, have decided that we are going to take I Say What I Said to its next phase, right? Whatever that is and wherever that's going to be, we will certainly let you all know. But for What's in It for the Black People Media, we want to say thank you for this partnership, for this opportunity. It's been fun. It's been an opportunity to grow. It's been an opportunity to expand. It's been an opportunity to make connections and partnerships that we find valuable and fruitful. And so thank you to the entire What's in It for the Black People Media staff, family. It's been wonderful. At this point, what's in it for the Black people media, and I said what I said, appear to be going in different directions. And so it just makes sense at this time. It just makes sense at this time. The verdict, the sentence has come down. I see some of y'all putting it in the comments. We will talk about it here in just a second. Yeah, 22 and a half years in prison. So what is he, like 40 what? 43? He'll probably be out in like 10, 12 years, like 12, 13 years, something like that.
Yeah, that's going to be an ongoing story.
Mid-50s. Yeah, we'll see about that.
Let's focus.
22 and a half years. But again, nothing personal, nothing malicious, no malice, nothing at all. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time here at What's In for the Black People Media. Before I say what I said, it's just as we move into two different directions, it just makes sense for us to part ways at this time. And so with that being said, this will be our last broadcast here on What's In It for the Black People Media. Again, thank you to everybody associated with What's In It for the Black People Media, whether that's inside the team or outside the team or the larger family at hand. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to be here with each and every one of you all. And we wish the network nothing but the best moving forward. We continue to cultivate and foster those personal relationships that we've built here in this time over the past year or so. And so we just want to let you guys know that. So very much. We don't have no desire to, bro. We don't have no desire to. We locked in for life, man.
But in that same vein, though, if you haven't already followed the I Said What I Said page, please go follow the I Said What I Said Facebook page, because wherever we broadcast from next, it will be surely launching there first. And we don't plan to miss a beat.
It'll only stream from there.
We'll be streaming by Monday.
You'll see us Monday at 1 p.m. on the I Said What I Said page.
Absolutely. So be conscious and be sure to go follow the I Said What I Said page. And again, man, sincerely, I see Don in the comments, man. Don, we love you. Ron, we know you love. We like you a little bit. You know what I mean? I almost slipped.
Un poquito.
No, but Gene, T, they family. Everybody's family, man. So we definitely appreciate the opportunity. We just got we're moving in a different direction. We see different things for the I Said What I Said brand, and we're just trying to elevate and grow. So, we hope that you all will grow with
it. That's well said. There's nothing to add to it. What's In It for the Black People Media is going in a direction, and I Said What I Said is going in a direction. And for the last year, those were in sync, and maybe not so much now, but that's perfectly fine. Again, we wish the network absolutely nothing but the absolute best. It's an extremely talented group of people at this network that are passionate about what they do and do it at the highest level possible. And they'll continue to be wildly successful as we anticipate for I Said What I Said. So with that being said, we will see you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on the I Said What I Said page. For Ron Rilla,
Tommy Buns,
Juliet Scott, and Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. We'll see y'all Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, y'all be good to each other.
Y'all know what time it is?
That's test.
Heard this right.
Yeah, we got to play the whole thing. Play the whole thing.
One more time.
Live it up. You about that life.
Hey.
We about that life. If you really about that life, then turn up. JC, spit a key. Let me test your work.
Turn up.
You the boss?
Let me test your work.
Jesus, you talking breezy. Let me test your work. Cam, you the man? Let me test your work. Dre and Snoop, like that chronic, I need something stronger. Molly cute, that's like an aspirin.
For my daughter.
Big time, in the club, with a case of Ace. And I sniff that whole table. Scarface. Another court case. I'm a frequent offender. Where Wyclef was hot,
I was gone to November.
6 years.
Hard time.
Bobby was fucking up. Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high
and so in love.
When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her.
Shit, I could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go with cardiac arrest. Had to bother my dress.
Lindsay Lohan her mess, but I've never cope above her breasts. I must confess, I heard from a little birdie. Bring some crystal meth.
You can get that from Fergie.
Had a real nice dream. Me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras. I was high and Rock Ford. Brick after brick.
Like Shaq at the free throw. I stay hard. I put coke in my pee-hole.
You about that life?
Yeah.
I'm about that life. You ain't really
about that life.
Turn up. If you
Turn up.
really about that life, then turn up. 50, get with me.
Let me test your work.
T.I., I'm trying to get high.
Let me test your work.
Birdman, I hear you, man. Let me test your work. Brick Squad, I like it hard.
Let me test your work.
I want that shit that made Britney
like
shave her head. I want that shit made DMX say he a fed. I want
say he
shit
about that life.
And the Bond's tweaking. I want that shit Lance Armstrong compete with. I'm a winner by any means. You dig me? Praise Angelina Jolie, but when it condemn me, keep trying to play me like I'm a loser. Biggest sales first week, Robbie Downey Jr. I remember even Oprah got high. You thought I forgot? I remember D'Angelo was Diesel. Lamar Odom, that's my people. Drew Barrymore, she liked it raw. Me, I liked it cooked with Armor Hammer on it. One time, can't lie, let's keep Ledger high. But
oh my God, man. Drew Barrymore, she liked it raw. I like
you about that life?
With Armor Hammer on it.
I'm about that life.
This is embarrassing that I like the song so goddamn much.
If you really about that life, then turn up. Meek Mills, keep it real, let me test your word. Joey Crack, where it's at, let me test your word. Coke boys, I hear that noise, let me test your word. Raekwon, chef me up something, let me test your word. RP, ODB, we would've got along. Would've probably been my feature on this very song.
Whoa. Never heard this part.
You ain't never heard that?
We usually go this deep.
I'ma sing you a whole song. I had that nigga singing.
He would have been the feature on the song.
Hey, Howard played this shit at a backyard barbecue last week.
I did. I absolutely did.
Nigga introduced me. You know Randy Jackson from American Idol. Well, his daughter's a prom fiend. She got the.
I don't hang with kids. I don't be nowhere with kids yet.
I know. He's like a whole kilo in his asshole.
You about that life?
I'm about that life. You ain't really about
Oh
that
my
life.
God, life is funny and then you die.
Really about that life. Then turn up. You got a lot.
We love y'all so very much.
I always appreciate
Don,
y'all
I'll talk to you in a minute. Susan, thank you so much for your compliment. I appreciate it. I receive it. We love y'all to death. Thank y'all so very much for everything. We'll see y'all.
Salam alaikum.
Still putting words together. It's that new shit.
Yeah, I got an old walking out there.
For the new hit.